This episode is sponsored by TP Tyers. If you're looking for anything for your car, tyres, batteries, bulbs, services, anything, go to TP Tyers in Deansgrange. Tell them Billy Big Ball sent you out for a 10% discount. Right, Billy Big Balls here, episode 26. And we have the lovely
Bronagh.
McBrien,
how are you?
How are you doing?
I'm good.
So, Bronagh, where are you from and what's your story?
So I'm from Tallaght, the posh side, you know.
There's a posh side to Tallaght?
Posh
wow.
side.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah.
What part of Tallaght are you from?
Springfield.
Oh, that is actually a nice part, isn't it? Yeah.
I told you, the posh
They have
side.
their own little shopping centre there and all, don't they?
The square, yeah.
No, there's a little small one there, isn't there? No, maybe.
Yeah, there is a little one up in Whitebrook or something like that. Yeah. So born in Tallaght. I have two older brothers. My dad at the moment. I was born into a family, mother, father, the whole lot, that stuff. Mum and dad aren't from Dublin, so they moved down. They're from the north, and they moved down. They moved to London and then moved over here. So that's where the family came from. And grew up in Tallaght. Dysfunctional childhood, very dysfunctional childhood. So I remember my mother was a chronic alcoholic. So years ago, things have changed now, but you had the lonely housewives who would end up on the prescribed medication and the alcohol. So that was my mother.
Right.
Lovely woman, but absolutely destroyed with alcohol. And so as a young child, there was a lot of dysfunction and there was a lot of... My dad was away working all the time. He was a hard working man up until he retired. And just growing up, there was always a need in me, you know.
Yeah.
Because of the dysfunction at home, I was always kind of searching outside, and I was always the weird kid and the kind of, I'm actually very introverted, even though I'll sit here and talk for ages on the camera. Yeah. I'm actually quite introverted and comfortable in my own circles. And looking back at my childhood, I can see a lot of that in my childhood, and I see why it happened. So I remember from a very young age, and I'm a Christian.
Okay.
So it's a huge part of my journey is my faith in God, you know.
Sorry, were you always a Christian?
I was a Catholic years ago.
Right, okay.
So
everybody, wasn't it?
Yeah, in Ireland. But what happened was, when I was younger, I remember the pain at home with my mother. And I was like from the age of 4 or 5 years of age. I remember that you'd wake up in the morning and she'd be on the ground unconscious, you know, and I was a 5-year-old child. Yeah. And I remember going up to my bedroom many times and unconsolably calling out to God, saying, where are you? What is this pain that I'm feeling? Will you take the pain away? So I was an innocent little 5-year-old child. So straight away, my life was doomed for a pathway of complete and utter chaos, you know. Yeah. And that went on, and I had 2 older brothers, and I was the girl, and I was always told, no, you can't do that, you're a girl, you can't do that. So that started its own journey with me, because then I had to prove to them, no, but I'm more capable than them. That wasn't the language I used back then. I'm going to be very careful with my language here, you know.
I know, here, listen.
And I remember going out to school and just never feeling part of anything, because when I left my house in the mornings to go out to school, I left carnage. Like, there was nights that we'd be in bed asleep and we'd be woken up by my ma screaming or whatever. My dad would have to come take us out of the house and bring us to a relative's house just to get us sleep. Yeah. And that carried on through my entire childhood. And I'd say at the age of 7, so my mother used to brew the home brew,
Okay.
Do you remember the home brew
and
the wine? She used to brew the wine. And she brought me up to the room one day, and you know the old teacups, like what your granny would have?
Yeah.
So she poured a cup of that and gave it to me. I was 7 years of age. She got me drunk. And I told my dad when he came in he wasn't happy, so there was a little bit of trouble in the gaff then after that. There was madness in my house. It was insane. And I never even the kids out on the road, I never fitted in with them, and I always questioned that as a young child, and I always thought I was fairly rejected from a really young age, rejected by my family. That's what it felt like looking back after doing years of work. That's what it looks like now. It was rejection. And I'm always saying to people with young kids, you know, be careful how you speak to them, because you're creating all them rejection and abandonment issues with them. So going to school 7, that kind of opened up a door for me. And then I'd say 9 years of age, then I was getting curious about smoking cigarettes. There was a neighbour down the road that was smoking these herbal cigarettes, not weed, herbal cigarettes.
Oh yeah, I know, they used to put them in the chemist.
And she was allowed smoking. I think they were 80p or something at the time. She was allowed smoking, I wasn't. But it looked really attractive to me. I was always attracted to the wrong stuff. Still am a little bit. But so that got me curious about smoking, and then I started smoking. Went on then, Jamie, I don't know, 11, 12 years of age, it was the discos. But I was always wanting to be out of the house. I never wanted to be in the house. I always wanted to be around people, and then when I got a little bit of acceptance with people, I was fitting in, and I thought that was what you had to do to fit in. So I suppose an element of people pleasing as well, just to fit in with people. And then ended up the discos, and the discos then started with the weed, or the hash back then it was. You smoking a joint, and then it was relationships with men then at the time, because I wasn't getting needs met at home. My dad was away working all the time, my mother just wasn't present, and so I searched elsewhere.
Searching for love, like to be loved,
because I wasn't taught any other way, and I remember further down getting into relationships, even for me, and not easy to say with a group of men in the room, but the truth of it was, I thought relationships with men, how you get them to like you is to have sex with them. Right. And there's a lot of women, I've heard a lot of stories of people in recovery and women, and it's something that we done. And then I suppose teenage years, I got promiscuous, and I remember I had a couple of friends at probably 13, 14, and they were on heroin. And they looked like they were having a great life. They got the car, you know. They had the nice clothes. And we didn't come from money. Now, my dad bought the house and he worked hard, and he's like, life really screwed him over, you know. He lived an honest life and it really screwed him over. And so way before that, I was already stealing, you know. I could barely reach. There was a little counter in the shop, and you'd see all the boxes of sweets on it. My hand would be going up. I was always, so I learned from an early age to get what I needed. And then I suppose at the age teenage years, the boys came into it, and then it was the truant in school, mitching off school, bottle of sherry, up to a friend's house, and we'd be all sitting there like Cheech and Chong, you know, a few joints. The good days. They were the good days. You enjoyed it. You thought, this is what it's about, you know. And then the heroin, I was probably 14, and I was looking at these people, and I was saying, you know, I wasn't consciously doing it. It was subconsciously. I was getting drawn to them, and I was getting drawn to that, I suppose, just to be that acceptance of other people. And wasn't long I was getting, I remember my mother, the duck eggs years ago, the yellow Normason duck eggs, do you remember them? She used to be taking the duck eggs, and I remember stepping over her some mornings, and they'd be all gelled together on the side of her mouth, you know, through my whole childhood. Like, I'd be going into school after, you'd get up and there's a pool of blood on the floor where she'd split her head open. Like, it was chronic. It wasn't just a little bit of alcohol use, it was chronic. I'm going to try and be careful what I say because I don't want to offend family, you know, if anyone
Yeah,
gets to see
no,
this.
like, yeah.
But there was a lot of carnage went on in the house, and I did not want to be in the house. I was embarrassed of the house, and I was ashamed of the house.
Yeah.
I was wearing the hand-me-down clothes, like the money wasn't there. And one of my next door neighbours, her father actually owned a warehouse, and they made clothes, and she was in the best of clothes. And so I found a way to fill that need again with stealing, you know. And teenage years went through the whole rave scene in the Olympia and all of them areas, and enjoyed it, you know. I was in relationships at the time.
We all went to the Olympic.
Yeah, they were the good days.
Yeah, they were good days, you know.
Your water and your watermelon and your everything else that
yeah.
came with it, and all the drama that came.
Awesome.
And then in between that, like I'd progressed through all the drugs. At the time it was even the drug addicts. It was a much better place to be compared to what's on the streets nowadays. You know, you had your prescribed medication, your heroin, your weed, your alcohol.
Yeah.
And so your acid, your trips. You were talking about trips earlier on.
Yeah.
Oh man, I've been on a few mad ones.
Yeah.
Oh, stop the strawberries.
You know. We took microdots.
The microdots, yeah.
Fucking.
They're like a little lint.
Little flint,
oh God, that was rough days. They weren't the fun parts, you know. And then I suppose the E and the parties, and then I ended up getting pregnant at 16 for a guy that I was chasing, and absolutely not good for me at all. But, you know, I didn't understand all that at the time. I just wanted to be loved. You know, madness. And that what happened then, I was 16, I was 17 when I had my son. Not long after that, from the party, and I ended up taking the heroin. And I started mixing in with this group of people that I wanted to mix in with and that I looked up to at the time, and I felt a part of. It was just insanity. I remember sitting in a house around, we're all sitting there smoking gear on the tin foil, and I felt like I was a part of something. Insanity, like, looking back at it, it was insanity.
But at the time it was like,
And sure, before my 18th birthday, with a lot of trouble, I actually got to a point with my mother that I hated her. I absolutely hated her. I got, every time there was a situation in the house the next morning, sorry. And I got to a point, I think about 15, 16, I couldn't understand how she was still alive. And so when I was 17, relationship had broke down completely. We used to get into physical altercations. Still was killing each other. If Tussla were as involved back then as they are nowadays, I tell you, Are
they involved nowadays?
Nah, yeah.
To be honest with you, you know, they're not fucking doing much, are they?
I'll be careful on that one. So at the age of 17 then, that's my life just spiraled really. I was becoming a young adult, and I was a young mother, and I hadn't a clue. I hadn't been taught how to be a woman. I hadn't been taught how to look after a child. And it was how he stayed with me as long as he did, and he wasn't taking out me is beyond me. And then I remember having an argument with my mother, and her go-to at the time was, when she'd no money or no tablets or no alcohol, she'd ring an ambulance, because she'd get medicated in the hospital, you know. And I was watching this, and I was like, not doing it. And she called a taxi to the house one day, and I was like, not letting you go. I was trying to, you know. I says to the taxi driver, she's not going to pay you. I was just lashing out. She ended up going in the taxi, and I never seen her again since. So a couple of months later, I get a phone call from a relative up the north. You know where your mother is? I says, how the F would I know where my mother is? Because I hated her at the time. Well, she's dead. And I was like, wow. So that floored me. I was 17. I was 17 with a young child. I had two brothers and my dad, and a lot of dysfunction still, and there still is in the house. And I hadn't a chance. I'd no very small family. I've got relatives in Coolock and relatives in Tallaght, and the rest of them are in the north and over in America. Very, very small family. So I remember I'd started to dabble with the heroin just before that. I'd started to dabble, and I remember even at my ma's funeral, sure, I was pulled. I drove out the day of the funeral, or I think it was the day before. I drove out with a guy that I was with at the time, and we were up in a pub, a car park up in Tallaght, smoking heroin, and the guards drove by, and I was like, oh, here. But I just explained my ma's funeral, and they let me off. I've some flukes, over the years. And that was it. Like, even when I went to the funeral the next day, I was that over. I missed the coffin going down into the ground, and someone says Bronagh, and I looked over and I said, oh yeah, I wasn't present. I wasn't, and that led on to a number of years then, getting myself into bother with the guards. I think by 18 I'd gotten caught. I was groomed as well by an older man at about the age of 18 to sell drugs for him, you know. Yeah. And I didn't see it at the time. I see it clearly now. Now.
You don't do, you know what I mean? You just think you're doing, you know, just out banging out a bit of this or whatever, you know.
And I was the idiot that got caught, you know. So yeah, a couple of times I was caught. They come in, raided the house, and I thought I was the business. I was selling. I thought I had the money. I was able to go out and buy the tracksuit. I was able to buy the runners. I thought, you know. Yeah. And I ended up getting into a bit of bother there, and I had to leave Dublin for a while because I was terrified of going to prison. And back then, I think my biggest fear was I was smoking heroin, and I was terrified of catching HIV. Because it was relatively new, so this would have been the 90s, so it was only 10 years kind of surfacing in Ireland at that time. And I moved further up somewhere in Ireland, I don't want to say where, and went up there, got a job, had my son with me, and stopped using the heroin, but I still partied. Really? I still partied hard. I partied hard, and I got involved in a lot of stuff up there that was way over my head. You know, there was a lot of paramilitary stuff, and there was a lot going on, and I was just a little person in the middle. Yeah. And I was going between different groups, and I was only out making me feel bob. I'm not going to say what I was doing. Yeah. And I got a fright when I seen what was going on. I got an awful fright. Like at one point, a guy walked into the house in the big green clobber, you know. Yeah, yeah. And went up to the attic and brought down a load of guns, and I'm like, what are they doing in my house? I was 18, 19 at this time. Yeah. So that was one chunk of it, and then I suppose for the rest of my pre-30s was just absolute carnage. Ended up homeless then. I went through the whole homeless, so I work with the homeless now, you know. I'm a firm believer in nothing is ever wasted. Yeah. There's a scripture in the Bible that says God will restore the years the locusts have eaten, so none of my life was wasted. It's all that's been my school of life.
What you are now.
Well, it's got me exactly where I am today, you know. And a lot of that was just partying, getting myself into trouble with guards, up to all sorts. I want to keep me a clean slate here, and I don't want guards coming knocking on my door, so I'm going to be careful, you know.
Yeah. And
look at here. You know. Ended up going through the whole homeless system. Ended up in the hostels and the B&Bs, and I remember, think about the age of 25, I started dabbling with the crack then, and that was it. That was it with my mental health, that was it. But even at that, around 26, 27, I hated my mother growing up, absolutely despised her for what she done, blamed her. Everything that I done wrong was her fault. And then at about the age of 26, I just had like a revelation or an epiphany. I thought to myself, I have a problem. I have a problem here, this isn't right. And I couldn't understand why the guards were constantly chasing me and raiding the place, because I wasn't making big money, you know. Yeah. I was making enough to get by. And then I realised my ma had a problem, and I was able to forgive her. Yeah. And I think I just gained so much maturity within that. And I started to see things a little bit different. Now, I wasn't ready for help yet, but I was definitely at a point in my life where things had gotten so bad, I was going to die, you know. Yeah. So that was about the age of 26, going through the B&Bs, kept getting put out of the B&Bs, guards kept raiding it. And at one point, I went in and had my son living with me at the time, and I've had to go through my own journey of healing and forgiveness, and I've done a lot of kind of,
you know, work and all that,
he's done a lot of work as well on my trauma inflicted on him. So we're in a good place with that. If you had asked me 10 years ago, it would have been a little bit more raw.
Yeah.
And I remember I was there, and like with the crack, if anyone's used crack, what that does to your mental health alone, the stuff that I'll take to the grave with me. I wouldn't even share it with a therapist, some of the stuff that went on in my head. And I'd been pretty bad, and I was IV drug using at the time, and I couldn't even get a hit. I still haven't got a vein to my name. Like me arms are destroyed. I've tattoos all over. Me covering all my war wounds. That's just part of my journey. And I'd been eyeing up. I was in a B&B, and there was, ironically, I worked for the charity that runs it now at the moment. And there was like a ledge in the B&B, and there was a nail hanging out of the ledge, and I kept looking at it, and I kept thinking, yeah, I'm gonna do it. And one day, and my partner at the time had been injecting into the groin, so he had a load of abscesses. Now I was with a guy, an absolute diamond. We're still the best of friends, you know, for about 11 years. So it was like a real codependent relationship. Yeah. Bonnie and Clyde, I suppose, if anyone. And I was eyeing this up, and I knew he couldn't do much. He had an abscess, and he could barely walk. He'd blood clots as well, you know.
Right.
So I locked the door of the B&B room one day. He went out with my son, and that's it. I just made a contraption out of different wires in the room, and I put it up, and I tied it, and I put it around my neck, and I jumped. Because I knew I wanted out. I was done. I wanted out. I couldn't do it. So they end up getting the door open. I remember myself, my body just shaking, and they got the door open, and when they opened the door and got the noose off, I turned around and said to my son, what did you do that for? Now we're going to be put out. That's how selfish at the time I was.
Thinking,
Never mind the pain that I
was putting him through or whatever,
And that went on. I'd multiple suicide attempts like that. Thank God I'm still here. But each time I couldn't do it, and I didn't believe in God. So when I cried out to God as a child, I actually declared myself as an atheist. It says this God stuff is not real. It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. And I remember rough sleeping. Got to a point where I was rough sleeping outside Cedar House and around. I'd be IV and around the back. I just used to put it through my trousers. I had nothing left in me. I didn't care. If something killed me, it killed me. I'd gotten quite violent as well. I had two brothers, and I had to learn how to look after myself. And I'd gotten quite violent. That was my protection. You know, and I thought to myself, if I can't kill myself, so I can't commit suicide, no one's going to kill me. I felt invincible. I did. So I wasn't afraid of anybody at the time. I was a nightmare. My ex-partner said to me one day, after we both got into recovery, he says, Bronagh, he says, you're a bleeding nightmare. I can't even get into a relationship because they're all terrified.
Yeah,
you know?
You're going to come after them.
But I'm actually the softest person. Like, you know, I know I'm a little bit, I can bark sometimes, but I'm actually really, really sensitive. That's who I should have been all along. But life
listen, you know what I mean? It brought you back to here now, you know what I mean? You know who you truly are now.
I know my identity now.
You know what I mean? But like all of us, we all had to go through all kind of fucked up shit to realise, like we were saying a few weeks ago, like we think that drugs saved their life. That sounds weird, you know what I mean? But I was going around drinking all the time, getting battered. I probably would have ended up getting into a scrap with someone and getting slaughtered. He was like sitting in bars just drinking all the time, you know? Then we found drugs. That would fuck their lives up. Look at us now, you know what I mean? I could have been dead, you know? So
it was definitely part of the journey that, that's not wasted either.
No, you have to just look at the positive out of it, you know what I mean? Like, no, that wasn't that much positive, you know what I mean? But looking back, you know, some things I got up to, like, you know what I mean? Like,
you won't be repeating on camera.
No, 100%. No, you know what I mean?
I'm trying to be really, really careful.
But there's someone there, you know, saved you, like, you know, in loads of situations I've been in, and Yeah, like I don't know what I believe in, to be honest with you. You know what I mean?
Interesting, isn't it?
It is, you know.
I had I was sleeping in around Marlborough Street, and I didn't believe in God, didn't believe in any of that stuff. I was anti-Christ, and I remember
Antichrist.
Yeah.
An antichrist.
Yeah, I was, yeah. I was absolutely insane. But I remember I must have goofed off on my finger at one point, whatever, in the cold, and I'd a cigarette burn across me. We've all had them.
Yeah.
Come on, admit it. We've all our hair on your chest.
Yeah,
but I had a cigarette burn across my finger, and it was pretty bad. It looked like I was going to lose it, you know, but I wouldn't go to the hospital. You didn't go to the hospital. You only went to the hospital when you were stabbed or you were looking for medication.
Unless someone took you in an ambulance.
Or you were trying to get them to stick an IV in so you could inject into it, you know. That's how it was back then. Madness. And this, he was a Presbyterian, I think he was a priest, and he walked by, and I come here, I was lying on the streets. There was probably a smelly urine at me, you know, roots down to here. I'd say I was about 6 stone. God knows the clothes I was wearing. Sure, I couldn't even keep a bag of clothes in a little bag. Probably wasn't little back then because I kept losing them everywhere. It was insanity. And he came over and he said, "Do you want me to pray for you?" I says, "Go on." And it started to heal up, and that just planted the seed that day for me. And I didn't do anything off it. And then I was another while then after that. You've probably heard of Victory Outreach.
Yeah.
Victory Outreach was back then. They used to run Christian homes. It was very easy to get into back then, you know. But my idea of a Christian, born again Christian, was cult back then. But these guys came over to me. Yeah. Well, a lot of people still think that, you know.
Do, yeah.
But these guys came over to me, 2 lads. I can't remember who they were, and they had said to me, talking about going into this Christian rehab. So it was another God sign, and then I was looking at them, and they were in the best of clothes, and they were talking well, and and they're ex-addicts, and I'm like, I didn't know you could get off drugs. I had no idea you could get off drugs. So that was that planted another seed. And then I remember one night I was lying on my bed after being my partner was out all day getting a few bob, and he'd left heroin with me. He'd left it in the barrel under my pillow, but I couldn't even inject myself. So my arms were swollen from abscesses. Like if you see, I've abscesses all over my body. So I waited there from morning till night. So at the end of the day, I'd done my sickness 1,000 times over before I even got clean. So I knew what it was like to suffer. So when he came in with the crack, right, as soon as I had a pipe of crack, then I'd get him to inject me. So I was on a mad one this night. And I remember looking up at the window, and I could see a picture. It looked like the face of Jesus. Now I was out my head in crack, but it planted something in me. Here, a few days later, I was like, "What's that? What was that?" Then another girl came up to me one day who'd went through a Christian program in Tallaght, and she was as mad as me. And I was looking at her going, something about her. So she invited me to this Christian meeting, and here I was, mad Bible basher, so I'm not going into that. But when I went in, there was something there that I wanted. And I was at the end of the road, I'd nothing left of me, and there was something there, and I was looking at them all talking well, dressed well. They were in the right frame of mind, and they were coming over, and obviously there was a little bit of what do they want. Yeah,
they're after something here, you know.
But looking back, when you get through and survive a journey like that, you want to help other people, you know. But there was something else there. There was something spiritual that, you know, obviously for me as a Christian, I believe it was God. But I kept going back, and I kept making excuses not to go back. But they kept at me and at me and at me to come back. And eventually he said to me, the director of the home said to me, "Bronagh, if you link in with Cool Mind, we'll take you off the streets." I couldn't get clean. I didn't want to get clean. I wanted to die, and I couldn't even do that. So, but I kept going, and they kept chasing me. That's why it's important when you're working with people, you kind of chase them a little bit, because they're going to come up with all the excuses.
Of course,
Linked in. And eventually I got my name on Cool Mind. When I told him I put my name down on Cool Mind, I actually got to stay in someone's house for a couple of days, and he came and he collected me from the house, and that was when I had my last ever turn on. I injected a 1/4 ounce that morning in 2 shots, and I said to him, "What do I bring with me?" He says, "You bring everything, because this is the start of a new life for you." Now I didn't know what that meant. You know, but 2 weeks then, I was on the methadone, I was on the benzos, I was on the whole lot, and 2 weeks later, my urine was clean. So that was another sign for me. And I ended up going into Coolmine, best thing I ever done. A long program. I'm not a real advocate for these short, quick fix programs. Not someone who's entrenched in addiction with all that trauma. You need
6 weeks is not enough.
No, you need time. You need time to heal and just to kind of
find
understand.
out who you are and get back to some kind of normality in your head. Like
that takes years.
Yeah, no, here, look, it's you know,
years.
it's people think when you're off drugs, you're off drugs. Fair play to you, everything's sorted now.
Go for a drink.
No.
Go for a drink, fuck's sake.
Or someone triggers you and you're re-traumatised. Yeah, I've had a few of them recently as well. So went in, done Coolmine. I remember putting my head on the pillow that night thinking I'm safe. No one knows where I am and I'm safe. Went through the courts, got all me charges dealt with. I got so much grace. I should have been locked up. Got so much grace even with the judges. He was wanting to lock me up, and lucky enough now I'd 2 little stints in prison. I done Patrick's years ago when it was Mountjoy. I done Mountjoy when it was the women's for a night. Right, wait, I'll tell you a story. Right, we were down in Knock with the travellers. There was my partner at the time and a couple of travellers, and we were going down up to All Sorts. Right, but we went to Knock to get blessed. Right. To pray for our journey, right? But the guards pulled us anyway, and there was a 5-spot hash in the car. You know, a little bar. You remember the 5 spots in the tin foil?
Yeah.
I think I was 17 at the time, right? And it's all right. I mean, he'd been in trouble with the guards. I hadn't been in trouble at this time, and I said I'll take the rap for it because I was a staunch girlfriend, like you know, madness. And it's like seriously, I'll take the blame for you. Why would they? And I remember I was out one day and there was a big sign on me stairs: "Wake me up when you come in, me dad." So I stepped over it and went to bed. And the next day he said, "The guards were looking for you. You have to." So I had to go down and present to the Garda station, and they put me into custody. For a 5-spot. But he put me into custody and sent me into the prison, into Mountjoy at the time. And when I went in, they were all saying, "What are you in for?" It's a half ounce of blow. I wasn't telling them it was a 5-spot.
Yeah.
So I had to go to Castlereagh Court the next day. And but when I was in there, when I was in the prison, you're up on your window with your mirror and I got a date and all. Up in the prison. A man over the other side.
Yeah.
So God let me experience these things, but kept me from doing a sentence. And I ended up going to Castlereagh, and the judge was sick, so they sent me home. Right. So and then when I went into Coolmine, when I come out and I was dealing with all me warrants, the day that I handed myself in was Operation Warrants Day, and they raided all the houses.
Oh, right, yeah.
So it was a long day. So they put me in again. I got 3 months in custody for a load of fines and a load of driving charges and 1 or 2 other charges I'm not going to discuss.
Get into,
And I got out the next day, you know. So I've been pretty blessed that way. But at least I can say now, I know what you're going through. I was there, you know.
Yeah.
And so that went on anyway. Back up to, I suppose, I was the end of me using I was about 27, 28, 29, and I went in and I'd done Coolmine, done the programme, stayed very plugged in with the church then. And that's where I done my recovery journey, was in the church. They had an addictions meeting on a Friday night, and I was in the church 6 days a week. I needed structure. Because I was terrified of relapse. So I done that, and my journey was going through different churches, and I'm still very rooted in the church now. So I suppose I'm 18 years, I'll be 18 years clean now on the 11th of February. So that's a journey in itself, you know.
And
it is.
Like I'm nearly coming. I'm not half my life clean yet, but I will be. And my journey, I suppose, in recovery has been just unbelievable. I've like straight away you're building relationships back with your family. I had my son move back in. I exited homelessness. Got a property, a rented property at the time. Still the journey of trying to work out who I am. Even working out how to navigate relationships, which I haven't mastered yet, you know.
Who has?
Trying to navigate even friendships, you know, and just a key thing, especially for women in recovery, is get strong, solid women around you. My key worker in Coolmine 18 years ago is my best friend now. She's my go-to. With anything, she'll tell me exactly. She'll call me out on me nonsense.
They're the type of people you want to keep around.
But I had to learn that. I had to learn, like, do I go to who tells me what I want to hear, or do I go to who's going to keep me alive, you know?
Yeah.
And my journey then, very plugged into church. I love God. I love my faith. I've a good relationship I have a spiritual relationship with God. That's my foundation, and that's what keeps me going. So I done a lot of voluntary work. I had no academic qualifications. I had absolutely nothing going in, but I knew I wanted to help people. So I started out very early on. That's how I know Derek. I know Derek from the working in the lighthouse, volunteering, helping the homeless. I've met some really good friends through different voluntary. And I started working. I was involved in a church in Crumlin, and we set up a soup run, and I was 5 years then doing the soup run on the streets, which I loved. Yeah, absolutely. And I was doing college courses in between. So, and it got to a point where I was thinking, I need more than this. I need a job. Yeah. Like I had a house that I needed to
pay for.
Yeah, and I done a lot of voluntary work, but I didn't have a life, you know. Yeah. And then someone just said to me, well, I remember standing outside the lighthouse with someone. I said, wouldn't it be great to get paid to do this kind of work? Because doing a lot of voluntary work. And sure enough, within weeks, someone said to me, go for it. I worked 8 years with the Paul Ireland, the homeless charity. Yeah. I ended up getting involved in there, and I got very educated through there. I learned how to work in services, and then I progressed with me college. And over the years, I've had a journey of healing my body as well, healing all the damage that I have done, healing my mental health, and then I've had the opportunity as well to go on different mission trips to different countries. So I went to a place called Belarus 4 times, where we worked in orphanages with people. And even that in itself was a massive experience. Like, I remember these kids had nothing, so they'd come from a lot of really, really chronic alcohol use, because it's an oppressed country. There's no social welfare. If you don't have money, the government make you sweep the streets, and so the majority of them turned to alcohol. Some of the kids witnessed their fathers murder their mothers, and so they're all. And there's a little bit of the backlash from Chernobyl. So the college or the orphanage we were working in, they would have all had speech problems. And I remember we brought them out to McDonald's one day. These children had never been to McDonald's, and a big group of us went out. The guy that runs it, Brian Kelly from Pashley, he made sure that we looked after the kids. And they bought a chocolate muffin, and they got the red sauce, and they were putting the red sauce in the chocolate muffin. They didn't know what to do. They never experienced it. It's hard to explain it if you haven't been there. So I done that, and recently, last year, I was in Lithuania. We ended up going in, and we went in to work with the women and the children in the detention centre. You know, what better opportunities, you know, to give back to people. Yeah, to give back something, I've done a lot of that. Done a lot of the homeless work in Ireland as well. I've been involved in charity for many. I suppose for the bulk of my recovery, I've been involved in charity. People would say, "Well, why don't you do it in Ireland?" I do. I still do. But I'm fortunate enough now to get paid. And then I suppose the opportunity came up with T-Glyn. So T-Glyn is a Christian faith-based organisation. They run 2 rehabs in Wicklow, and they're very involved with the lighthouse. They're actually running the lighthouse now at the moment. We won't mention the war. And I was approached and asked, would I develop a role in Wicklow supporting homeless people, and that's how I'm working with Jane. So I did. I took that on board in 2024. I was ready. I'd done me 8 years working in homeless services, and I just needed something different, you know. And so I was ready. I suppose, went out and developed the role. It's 2 years. 2 years on the 29th, I started working with T-Glyn, developed the role single-handedly. So even for that, that's a serious confidence booster. And knowing who you are and what you're capable of doing. So I don't, like when Derek said, come out here, coming out and doing a podcast wouldn't bother me. You know, it wouldn't, because I've already tested myself that many times. It's like, you don't say no. When people give you opportunities like this to share, you don't say no, you say yes, and then you worry about it afterwards. You know, because the no will create the fear. So I developed that role, and that's 2 years running. it's a social inclusion role with the HSE, so we're part of the HSE social inclusion team across in Clonskea Hospital.
Yeah, right,
so Jim would be based there quite a bit, and I do that, and Jim would cover a lot of the hospital stuff with them, and we both work out in the community, so anyone that's homeless or at risk within the whole county of Wicklow and South Dublin, we would work with. Gives plenty of opportunity for more training as well. Family life, I've you know, I have my own house, I have my car, I have my driver's license back. I actually renewed it, I have it 10 years, like, and I've been able to hold it for 10 years. I've been banned off the road for many years, you know. Yeah. And I remember having to use buses, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Yeah. And it was because of the anxiety. I actually get very socially awkward. Yeah. You know, and my car is my little safe space. But God knew what He was doing. You know, I'm driving. I'm not stuck in an office all day. Yeah, the amount of places I was today, like I'm not sitting in an office 9 to 5. I'm out, and I've got the freedom to do and work. Out, yeah. We have some crazy situations that we end up having to deal with, and when you're finished dealing with your situation, you're like, we were meant to be here at that time. We were meant to be here. Like, there's been lives there. There's no doubt there's been lives saved, you know. And it's the same working in the services. There's lives being saved. And, you know, I've got many years of lived experience, and I've also got many years, I suppose, of structuring that experience to make sure that it's used the right way. You know? And that's by working in services. I've had the training to do it. And do I still struggle? You know, do I still have hard times? Absolutely. My family life at the moment is absolute carnage. Right. But I'm not going to use that, you know. I'm not going to use. I couldn't even tell you the last time I thought about using. Couldn't even tell you that it's so far removed. And even talking about my story, I find it difficult to remember a lot of that stuff because I'm so far removed from it.
Yeah, right, yeah. No, I totally understand that, you know. Well, like, look at you now.
Yeah, and there's no going
from
back.
Where you are, like, it's a miracle, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Or if you knew me back then, you probably wouldn't talk to me.
No, yeah, listen.
Yeah.
You're probably the same as me, you know, man. Like,
yeah.
You know.
No, I'm not. You wouldn't. Yeah. No, I find it hard. I find it hard connecting that person to who I am now, and that's all right. That's okay. It's not who I am anymore. You know.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's made you who you are.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So. And it's like what you were saying there. The drugs saved you. Like, that whole life that I have is being used now with other people.
Yeah. You won't go back there, you know what I mean? Like, people that are in the situation, you can relate to it. Yeah. Because you've been there, you know?
Yeah, my family, I was the black sheep. Now I'm the one they come to. I actually have to say no at times because you run out of steam.
Yeah, of course, yeah, you know. But it's good to be, isn't it? Someone that they come to now instead of someone that they run away from.
It is, yeah, it is. It's time to give back.
Yeah,
give
definitely,
back to the family, you know.
How did you get into that mentality of saying yes instead of no?
How did I get into the mentality of saying yes instead of no? Right, I'll tell you how. It was at a conference. It was at a women's conference, okay? I was at a Christian women's conference in Bradford with 2,000 or 3,000 women. It was powerful to be in a room full of women empowering, and it was a Christian conference, and what the woman was saying, she was saying, what have you got in your hand for Jesus? And I was like, what does she mean? She says, what have you got in your hand for Jesus? And what she meant was, have you got something in the way, or have you got Jesus in your hand? Right, and she said, if someone asks you to share, she says, you say yes to God. So that's where it came from, and in practice, when I started to do it, that's when I realised I really stepped out of my comfort zone, and I realised if I just say yes and do it, I'll do it. If I start questioning it, I won't do it. And I say that to everybody. If someone says, I have to share, I'm saying, just do it, just do it. And I realised the value, and I realised the value that it has with other people. So when I was looking at people, the 2 lads, for example, Victory Outreach came, opened their mouth and were willing to reach out to me and to share. And when I looked at how well they were, how their lives, now listen, they were probably still chaotic, but to me they looked a lot better than I did at the time. When you put all that together, people watch your walk, they watch what you're doing. And I was such a hopeless case when I was a hopeless case like the rest of us, you know, really no way out. Sure, I couldn't even kill myself. And when I see how that I could turn that around, I know everybody can do that. Yeah. There's not a person that can't if they tap into it. And one of the key things is, for me, when I started the journey, I suppose, of recovery and thinking about possibly getting clean, I didn't know I could get clean. And I didn't think there was any point, because I remember lying on the streets in outside Cedar House. It used to be a government building there, and there was steps. We even put carpet on the steps. And I remember lying there, and a neighbour walked by one day, and I was so ashamed. Yeah. I was mortified, and I just, the embarrassment, and because I felt like the dirt on people's shoes. I remember going into the off licence after, probably with €1 at the time, going in to buy a drink, and I wouldn't look you in the eyes. Yeah. I couldn't look you in the eyes. Now I look straight in the eyes and camera and whatever. Yeah, but yeah. I remember going into Coal Mine, and a girl said to me, "You've low self-esteem." I didn't know what that was. And I said, "What do you mean?" She says, "You can't look people in the eyes." So I became aware of it then.
Yeah,
you know?
Right, yeah.
So saying yes, people need people. People need people. I think it's very selfish if you get recovery to keep it to yourself. Yeah. Is it Coal Mine have a concept that someone says you only keep what you have by giving it away? Yeah. You know, and that's how I've kept. But there's benefits to me as well. So it's not only that when I help others, I'm helping them. Like it has a two-way streak. When you help somebody, you feel good. They feel good and you feel good. Yeah, it's win-win. I mean? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's win-win. Or you could just get into recovery, start working, and forget about everyone else. But you're losing now. Yeah. You really are. And the person that also is losing now, you don't know who you're going to help. So my son now, I suppose, he's 31. I know I'm so young looking. He's 31, and he's had his journey of recovery as well, and he's doing quite well. And he wrote me a card there a while ago that said, "Ma'am, thank you for showing me recovery." You know, these are priceless things. Yeah, they really are, you know, priceless. What the ripple effect it has on your family. Now, I still have family members in addiction, and I've had to get out of the way because you can go overboard when we know the answers, we know the services. Yeah, yeah. Like we're like a directory now of services. Anyone comes to us, we're like this, you know, straight away we're like. Yeah. But you can get into a point where you want to fix, you want to rescue, and you want to save. And then you get let down when they don't do it, and let down. Yeah, yeah. So I've had to lower the expectations and just realise I can't fix them. I can offer them help if they don't take it. Show them the way or whatever. Yeah. I've done as much as I can do, and you have to mind yourself as well. You have to keep good boundaries with friends and family too. It's been a fun journey, and it's been a challenge and a big growing journey for me, and it's not over yet. I'm excited again to see what's coming ahead. Like, I've a few years left of me, do you know? Definitely. A few years of life left of me, a bit more education in me, and I've definitely got a few holidays left of me. Oh yeah. You know? And where'd you like to go? Oh, I'd love to go to Santorini. Bucket list, Santorini. Yeah. But I'm not there yet with travelling on my own. I know Jane has no problem. You'd enjoy that, wouldn't you? I've pushed myself out of the comfort zone quite a bit, but I've a little bit more to go, you know. Yeah, yeah. So it's bucket list. I'll definitely plan something like that, and I'd like a little bit more education. I think I've a really good opportunity here, working in the type of work that I do. Like, you're helping people, but now we're actually getting to a point where we're actually seeing people being housed, and you know, like I sit on big tables with people that I never thought I'd be in the room with. Yeah. And I'd be sitting there with a bit of imposter syndrome, thinking, how did I get here? Yeah. But I got there because I'm well able and I'm well capable. Yeah, of course, yeah. You didn't get there by a fluke. No. Do you know what I mean? and I've something valuable to offer those that are still struggling and still suffering, you know. And it's an absolute course, really, what's going on out there now. Even with all the different drugs on the streets now, all them the bogey tablets, like.
You know what? Like, I wouldn't have a clue of what kind of drugs are being sold in town. And well, I know like crack and heroin or whatever, but like some of the stuff that people be telling you about, you know, and you're like, fuck, man. Like, you see videos of blokes going to buy crack, and these fuckers having them, you know, hey, I'll give you a bit of crack if you eat this, or you do this, or do that. It's totally like taking your dignity of vulnerable people, you know what I mean, and making a bleeding show of them.
It is,
Like, so imagine us stuck like that in meeting, you know, going up to buy crack, and hey, I'll give you an extra rock if you do this and you do that. You just see them doing things, it's like,
times have changed. Even the drug culture has changed. Like years ago, it'd be a little bit of robbing or selling or whatever. But nowadays, even women, God love them, like how they earn their money has changed quite drastically, and that's because the crack especially has such a hold on people. It's so highly addictive, the hold that it has on women, and then they fall into all the trap of the pimps and everything else that goes with that, and used and abused, and then the journey, God love them, that they have to go on with that. The drug culture has changed so much, so is the crime. The crime is
different.
But listen, I'm grateful to be alive, but I'm afraid of what's coming. You know, really am. And
listen, you know, imagine growing up now, you know.
I wouldn't want. I
wouldn't want that.
The big one is social media. I wouldn't like to be caught doing what imagine caught.
Oh yeah, bollocks, you know. Yeah. Nowadays, like, someone's sitting there talking to you with a pair of glasses on, recording you. You know what I mean? It's like. Do you ever see videos and you say, Jesus, I wonder how they had the camera out right at the time.
Didn't see
it's the fucking glasses, you know what I mean?
And the AI, it's bizarre,
like.
I downloaded an app the other day and I was making videos of myself and my friends, and I was like, wow, that could cause a lot of trouble. You know?
Big time.
Really cool.
You stick your head on something, you know what I mean? It's fucking, it's.
Yeah, times have changed, so I suppose that's why it's so important. Anyone that's listening to any of Billy's podcasts, and it's great what you're doing.
Yeah,
it really is great,
much,
and I wish you all the best. And I just hope it grows and grows and grows.
Yeah, so do I. You know, I tell you, since John said the prayer on the show, it's getting better.
I'm telling you.
You know, since he blessed the show.
I wonder what.
Since I met you, you know, like everything's changed. You know?
I wonder what that is. I wonder.
Something up there anyway.
But that's how I started my journey, was all these little coincidences. They call them God incidences, and I was like, something there.
Yeah.
And then I thought to myself, I suppose my last suicide attempt, I thought to myself, there's something bigger than me here.
Yeah.
I can't, because I tell you, it wasn't half-arsed jobs.
Yeah.
I was going the full hog, and I couldn't even do that. But there's something.
And you weren't supposed to go. That's what it was.
No, God had a different plan for me.
Well, this sounds like it, doesn't it?
This is the plan, you know, sitting here in Billy Big Paul's podcast.
Yeah.
In the middle of, God knows where we are, secret location. Yeah, with Unify ordering.
Unify. If you want to order any food, give them a bell.
Yeah.
Tell them Billy sent you. You won't get a 10% discount.
Yeah.
You won't get any discount. You'll be lucky to get the stuff delivered.
5-finger discount.
Yeah.
Them days are over now.
100%. Yeah.
So
Like even now, if I go in the shop and say they give me change and it's too much, I feel guilty. I go back and give it to them and all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'd be thinking, walking back out, going, Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah. No,
what's going on? What the fuck?
Conscience.
It's your conscience, you know.
You grew with conscience.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, but I'm happy to be who I am. I'm happy to be the person that I am. I wish I had more money and I wish I had a nice Range Rover, but like apart from that...
I really want a Range Rover, they're a piece of shit.
No, I wouldn't mind it. Come here, they massage your back and all.
Yeah?
I was in a friend's the other day and it was massaging me back and I was thinking, this is car crash stuff.
Yeah. You're like, next minute you're like that, bang!
And the heated seats, it's like, whoa, but I'd still like one, Yeah, God, if you're listening, I'd like
I
one
drive
of
a
them.
blading 2004 blading car, you know.
That's not
Mercedes,
That's not
class.
your fault.
Yeah, no, I know.
Come here, you see the difference is I have the favour of God. You're getting there.
Right,
You're getting
okay.
there with these little seeds, you know. Yeah, so no complaints here. Recovery is good, and it can be hard.
Yeah, no, it's not. Well, it's a battle every day, you know. Really, you know what I mean.
It really
You're
is.
always
Yeah.
an addict. Like, it's just whatever way you deal with it.
Yeah, no, I don't class myself as an addict.
No?
No, no longer an addict. No.
Okay.
I've done my journey. I've saved me time. I'm living.
Recovered.
I do, yeah, I do believe it. Yeah,
Yeah.
still have bits of trauma that creep up every now and again.
Yeah,
You know.
like everyone
Yeah.
does. Like, it's you have the tools to deal with it now. That's the difference.
Yeah.
It's not a bleeding bag of thing. Get
Yeah.
rid of this trauma. Now it's like it's in your head. You
Yeah.
know what
What
to
would you
do.
say to someone, you know, in the position of where you were in the beginning? What would you say to them now? The 4 steps, what to do?
Definitely believe that something can happen, something good can happen. Definitely, you have to have a little bit of hope. Get linked into the services. Where those services are depends on the areas that you're in. So you've your community addiction teams. Okay, you have the fellowships, NACA. You have churches all over Ireland. Google. We live in an era of social media. I said this on a podcast before that question was asked, so I'm probably repeating myself, but it's still useful information. Google.
Yeah.
Google. If you don't know, Google. But the main thing is, like, on my journey, people offered me help, but I couldn't see it, you know. And then there's pride and, you know, thinking I'm not good enough, and you are good enough. Of course you're good enough. Like, I thought I didn't deserve to be where I am because of the hurt and the pain I've done on people. And anyone I've hurt or pain, I openly, I apologise for it, you know. That's not who I am, and it was never my intention. But I was worth it, you know, and I did deserve this because God thought I was worth it. My family think I'm worth it. My son thinks I'm worth it, you know. And I believe that I'm worth it. I don't think I'm entitled to any of it, but I definitely think my life is worth living. Reach out, pick up the phone. If you go on the website, HSC have plenty of information there on different services, if it's mental health, if it's addiction, if it's domestic violence, if it's rape. Like, you've got Ruama, you have all the addiction services, you've got Alone. There's so many services out there. The video that you're going to put out now, comment on it. Someone might jump on and give you a bit of information. Social media, like, they're all doctors and psychiatrists on social media.
Oh, yeah.
But you can get access to information. Years ago, we didn't have access to that information. I had to go to a little porta cabin in Tallaght. I was forced to go at the age of 17, and I didn't want to go, and I did. But I didn't realise the information that was there. There's so much information. There's so many different services. Pick up the phone, Google something on whether it's AA, Alcohol Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, Cocaine Anonymous. There's recovery groups everywhere. I'm not sure what's in this area, but you have Fast Finglas, you have Coolmine, you have in Tallaght, you have Tyers, you have Carp, you have Jad. Every area has a community addictions team.
Yeah, what's the Spellman Centre, isn't it?
The Spellman ring, in Irishtown.
Yeah.
Not Ringsend, Irishtown.
Oh no, Irishtown. No,
Irishtown.
Ringsend's down there. Irishtown is the centre of the universe.
Are they two separate places? I'm
Kinda,
way.
you know what I mean?
I'm from way over the south side, you know. But yeah, there's plenty of help out there. It's taken, for me, it was when someone said to me, come, listen, I was willing to go to a Mad Bible Bashers. That's how desperate I was. But I tell you, it was the best thing I ever done. But the decision was actually going. When someone said, come to this meeting, and I said, right, I'm going. My life has never been the same since. That one decision, small choices. If you do reach out and you start going to meetings and you get afraid and you stop going, go back.
Yeah.
If it takes 6 months, go back. It took me 2 years on my journey.
Yeah.
I was 31 when I went into Coolmine. And I was probably from the age of 26 thinking about it. I think at the age of 29 I was like, right, I'm gonna Someone actually shared, I went into a stabilisation programme in Cúndara Cherry Orchard at the time.
I was in there, actually,
Great
yeah.
crack. I had the ball in there. That's when I seen
got fucked
people.
out there.
I'd say you did.
Yeah, no, it
believe
did,
that.
yeah. I ran the blade. I got fucked out, yeah.
We need to do a Billy Big Balls podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I had great crack. We like you regress back to your emotional state as a teenager, and then you start to mature a little bit. Not too. I still haven't matured completely inside.
Yeah.
I feel about 16, and I can act out.
Oh, yeah, no, 100%. You know,
Yeah.
your body gets old, your mind stays like a child, you know what I mean? Well, mine did anyway.
Yeah, the body is old, yeah, that's what it is. And a seed was planted there again about recovery, and someone came in from AA and shared.
Yeah.
And I was looking at, that was probably the very first experience I had of someone in recovery, and I realised, hang on, you can actually get off drugs.
Yeah.
So it was going to, even though I didn't want it, I went to the meeting there, and it took me another 2 years before I actually had enough.
Yeah.
Because I went in for stabilisation, so I got a fresh burst of energy to go out again.
Yeah, and yeah.
You know, but definitely look it up, Google community addiction teams. I suppose is a really good point of contact. Really, really good. You can link in there, and they're always willing to support. HSC is a big one as well. T Glyn, can't forget T Glyn. You know, if you're looking for rehab, you can link into T Glyn. Coal Mine is another one there too. The more established, I suppose, rehabs, and then
Solid as well are starting back up
the day programs, yeah, the Solid day programs, and a lot of the community addiction teams will do a day program as well. They tailor their programs to meet the different levels of recovery, whether it's stabilisation or drug free. Solid do that, I think, don't they? Yeah, so there's plenty of services out there. You just need to be brave enough to take the first step. If you take the first step, your life could change forever. Leighton Kelly said to me, the director of the Christian home up in Tallaght, when I said to him, what do I take with me? He says, take everything, because this is going to be the start of a new life for you. And he was telling the truth.
Yeah.
I thought they were looking for something out of me, but all he wanted to do was help me. He was in recovery.
But when you're on drugs, that's what you think. Don't you think there's a sinister something behind it? They're not just being nice.
Yeah.
There's something here,
that's
you know.
Because that was us.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What can I get out of this one?
Yeah.
How can I get that? You know, manipulating the whole shebang.
Yeah.
It's just making the decision, really, isn't it?
It's been brave enough. I think it's being brave enough to make that decision and just follow through on it. Small choices. Was it you that mentioned choice theory? It wasn't, someone else. It's choices, small little choices, one step at a time. Another concept in Coal Mine was the journey of 1,000 steps. The journey of 1,000 miles starts with the first step. Man, I've done about 45,000 now at this stage, you know, and I'm still trying to climb up the ladder. But it's them small steps, and eventually you'll look back and then you'll see how far you've come.
Yeah, right.
Like I'm nearly 18 years. I'm like, what happened in that?
Yeah.
Where's that 18 years
Where
gone?
gone? Yeah, yeah.
And it's a little bit scary as well when you've spent 30 years, well, probably 17, 18 years out there, and that's been robbed from you.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to establish your life back again, find out who you are, what journey, what path you're on.
Yeah.
And you look back and you're like, there's a little bit of me thinks a bit sad about it, you know. But it's made me who I am.
That's it, yeah. It shaped the rest of your life, didn't it, you know?
Surely has.
Puts you on the path that you're supposed to be on.
Yeah.
So
it's great to be alive though, isn't it?
Even
if you feel 90, but it's still great to be alive, isn't it? Really is.
You get up in the morning, you're like, oh, my knees are fucked, you know what I mean?
Where's the ibuprofen?
My back is in bits, you know? But here it is great to be alive. That's what, in this stage of my life, I love life now, you know?
Yeah.
I'm actually not worried, but, you know, I don't want to die, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know we're all going to die, you know what I mean? But, you know, you don't want to now, you know that way?
No, if not for a while, at least Santorini. I need to get that out of the way first.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I'm not there yet. I have a couple of things to check out.
Don't worry, if everything goes well, we'll bring the podcast over there and bring you over.
Imagine.
Interview you over there.
Imagine, come on. Is that a promise?
That's 100% the promise.
Imagine recovery in Santorini.
Yeah. Right, so.
Yeah, here, you'll need the shades then.
Oh yeah, 100%. Should I wear the shades in the rain and all, you know?
Yeah.
People do be saying to me, "What have you got shades on for? It's not even sunny out." No, they're prescription. I can't see without them, you know what I mean? So most days I go out in the van and forget my glasses, and they're all I have. First thing in the morning, it's bleeding pitch black, you're running around, people looking at you going, "Ah, fucking idiot."
2 miles an hour.
Yeah. Like
That's
that.
an age thing, yeah, definitely.
Oh, big time. Episode 26 in the bag. Billy Big Balls. It's a wrap. Billy loves you. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank
Been
you.
a pleasure.
Pleasure, yeah.
Yeah,
thank you.
100%.
Well done.